So I've been going through my fabric scrap pile recently, and I've been trying to figure out some different ways to kind of thin down the herd. The mountain is starting to climb, and I need to do something about it. So in today's video is going to be all about fabric yo-yos. This is one of those things that's a little bit retro. You may have seen it at grandmama's house. You know how things always come back around. I'm going to show you exactly how to make a fabric yo-yo, what the hell it is, and I'm going to give you a bunch of different ways on how you can use them, because once you make one, you're going to want to make like 50, and then you're going to want to make more, and you're going to want to put them everywhere. If you want to follow along, grab your sewing gear and let's get into it. Okay, so for this tutorial, what you're going to need is your fabric scraps. Size doesn't really matter, but I will give you some tips and tricks on the sizing so that you know exactly how big your yo-yo is going to come out. You're also going to need some sort of tool to make a circle if you want to be fancy. Now, you don't need this in particular, but if you just feel more comfortable using something that's circular, I have a mason jar. I live in the South, USA. Everybody has mason jars. They just show up in people's houses. So you can use a mason jar, a mug, a cup. I've also got like this shipping tape that I got randomly from somewhere. You can use anything round. You could also print out a template on paper, whatever you want to do. If you have a square, we can also do that as well, and I'll show you how to do that. So right here, no, we're not going to use the square. We're going to use, no, that's also a square. Let's use a random shape. Let's use this. All right, this is like a rhombus parallelogram type shape. Now this packing tape, I'm going to use it for the first example because this will make a lot more sense. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the diameter. It's approximately a 4-inch diameter. Now we're not going to do a bunch of math because we're not doing math up in here. You want to just make sure that you do pay attention to what size diameter that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my pen. It doesn't really matter because you're not going to see this part. So you can use a marker, whatever you've got handy, a pencil, and you're just going to make a circle. See? Simple. You're going to cut out your circle. Again, it does not have to be perfect. Do not try to make the circle perfect. Just trust me on this. It's not going to matter if it's perfect. But yeah, there's a circle. Now, if you don't have anything round, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this square. You see this square? I'm going to see what size it is. This is a 6x6 square. What you do, you just fold it in half like a hot dog. Fold it in half again. And now we're just going to make like a curve. And then you have a circle. How about that? Boom. Easy peasy. Oh yeah, you're also going to need a needle and thread. Now, this is going to be a hand sewing project. Y'all know I don't usually do hand sewing, but we're doing it today. Just get you a normal hand needle. What I like to do is like when a bobbin gets like little like this and I don't want to mess with it anymore, I like to use that for my hand sewing projects. Also, when I hand sew, I always do my thread with double, like I just always do. At the end, you're going to do a knot. It's not pretty, but it doesn't have to be. I don't ever make my hand sewing thread very long because I don't want it to knot up. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your circle. This is my pretty side. This is my not pretty side, or the inside of the fabric. You're going to take your thread, your needle and thread, and you're going to do a running stitch around the edge, right around the edge. Now you don't want to be like super on the edge. I'm going to say probably about 1/8 of an inch inside of your edge, and you just do a simple running stitch. Now if you don't know what a running stitch is, hopefully you can, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just going through the back and up just like this. Just a straight stitch, running stitch. Very, very simple. All right, so you see what's happening? You see the shape? Yeah. See? Now, when I get back to my knot, I don't know if you can see the knot right there on the end there. When I get back to my knot, what I'm going to do is I am going to bring my thread. And this is, you know, you see how it's like a little bonnet? It's like a little hat. See how it's scrunched up? You're just going to go ahead and you're going to pull your thread and bunch it up. Now you see how our circle shrunk down? Just like that. We'll measure it in just a second. But once you pull your thread, what you're going to do is you're going to come back and you're just going to give it a couple stitches on the inside of your yo-yo just to secure things. And there you have your yo-yo. Now, isn't that cute? Look at that. That's a yo-yo. Now, the size of our yo-yo, which is why I wanted y'all to pay attention to your diameter. The diameter of my yo-yo now is 2 inches. It's 2 inches. So whatever size that whatever diameter that your circle starts at, it's going to half in size when you gather it. So this 6-inch circle is going to turn into a 3-inch yo-yo whenever I do the stitch. Now, I've tried doing these on a sewing machine. I have tried it, and I personally just don't like the way that it looks. I've tried different stitch lengths. I don't know. I just like the way that the yo-yos turn out whenever they're done by hand. That's just a personal preference. If you wanted to use like a long stitch on your machine and then pull it like that, feel free. But for me, it's just I like the way that they look done by hand. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to just make a shit ton of yo-yos. Just however many that you want to make. You can make them in different sizes. So once you have a bunch of yo-yos, now you have a lot of different options that you can put these on. Anyway, you get the idea. So that is an earring. You can also take a bunch of yo-yos, you can sew them together, and you can make like a cute little garland. One thing that I did with a bunch of yo-yos, and this has been a couple years, was I took them and I threaded them together, and I actually included them with a bunch of beads and made a beaded curtain for my window. It is the most viewed TikTok on my account, so that's kind of my claim to fame. I mean, as you can see, 11,000 on TikTok. I'm kind of a big deal with that. I mean, yeah, no, I'm just kidding. If you have a bunch that are different sizes, what you could do is you could take them and you could stack them, add a little button in the middle, and you've got you a cute little fabric flower that you can add to a brooch or a pin or into like an upcycle that you've got. Another thing that you can do with them is you can use the yo-yos themselves to embellish your upcycled item. Like you could just sew them together, or you could just have them as is and sew these directly onto your piece by hand. I've seen people make pillows. I'll put like an inspiration photo, but I've seen pillows with yo-yos on them as well. There's so many different options that you can use these for, and that's why I think that they're so versatile. I mean, literally, like, look at this little cute stack, like a little sandwich. Nom, 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 nom. But yeah, fabric yo-yos. What do you think? Are you going to use them in your next scrap fabric project? I know I've got some that I'm probably going to make when I get done recording this. But yeah, if you got this far in the video, thank you so much for joining me. I've got lots of other video ideas coming along the way. So if you want to follow along and maybe get a new project to put into your pocket, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all of the YouTubey things. I'd love to have you in the community. But yeah, until next time, happy sewing, have fun, and I'll see you next time.